Every day is filled with choices. You're here because you're choosing to start with a win. Get ready to be inspired, learn something new, and connect with the Win Nation.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado, home of RE/MAX World Headquarters. It's Adam Contos, CEO of RE/MAX with Start With a Win. Oh, what guy? Mark is playing the music again. You want to dance some more, Mark?
I just want to keep it going.
Oh, I like it. This is really cool. We have a great guest on today. So I'm honored to introduce to the show Kindra Hall. She's the president and chief storytelling officer. I love that title at Steller Collective, which is a consulting firm focused on the strategic application of storytelling in today's communication challenges. Kindra is also a contributing editor to Success Magazine and was guest faculty at the Harvard Medical School. So Kindra, welcome to Start With a Win.
Adam, I am so thrilled to be here. Love your dance moves. Producer Mark was just crushing it. Thanks for having me.
Kindra, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I mean, you said it right there in the introduction. My work, my life really has been entirely focused on the power of storytelling and how we can tap into those often overlooked, sometimes so small that we don't even realize that they're there, those stories that connect people. Now, in addition to that, I live in New York City. I'm a mother to 2 kids. I've got a dog, a husband. You know, I do all that as well.
Awesome. So, I mean, storytelling has been a part of your life, it seems like, based on what I've learned about you for a long, long time. And it includes a backstory of a family trip where you listened to a storytelling tape. How did that encounter with storytelling hit you? I mean, there must have been like an aha moment there or something that you really enjoyed about it that you've carried through life. I mean, tell us about that story itself.
Yeah. I was one of those people who found what I was meant to do at a very young age. So when that car ride happened, I think I was about 12 years old. We were in my family's Astro Star minivan. We were driving up to our cabin. I grew up in Minnesota, so a cabin was a part of life. It was about a 5 to 6 hour drive, and it was my dad always drove, my mom in the passenger seat. I got the middle to myself because I was the oldest, and then my brother and sister in the back. And we all liked to do different things in the car. We're all different people. My dad liked to listen to the Twins or the Vikings, depending on the season. My mom liked to read a book and then would complain about the Twins or the Vikings playing. My sister would fall asleep. My brother would read, I would read. And one time my brother was listening to a cassette tape in a Walkman. Yes, for those of you who know what that is. And I remember he was so annoying because he kept laughing, like bursting out into laughter. And finally we made him take out the cassette tape and we put it into the communal tape player in the van. And it was a recording from the National Storytelling Festival in Jonesboro, Tennessee. If you didn't know that there is such a thing as a National Storytelling Festival, there is. And it was just each track was... Is that what they were called? Were they called tracks? I don't even know. But each track was a separate story. Someone telling a story, a small story from their life. Sometimes they were funny, which is why my brother was laughing. And I remember them putting the cassette tape in, pushing play. And for the first time, all 5 of us with different interests, different attitudes, different expectations of what should happen in the family Astro Star van, we all came together and were enjoying these stories simultaneously and coming at it from different sides. My dad understood the stories differently than I did. And we got to the cabin and none of us really wanted to get out of the car. And that was just one in a series of many, many moments. I'm sure, we all have these moments along our journey where it's like, aha, yes, this is what it's all about. That was one of them for me, that story's ability to bring people together, to allow for differences, but to still have that communal feeling. It was a pretty powerful, unsuspecting moment. We can't help ourselves as humans, but to be drawn into a great story. I mean, and this happens in all different ways around us. And I think one of the underestimated power of storytelling, particularly in business, but in life in general, is the storytelling process has a leveraging point that other forms of communication simply don't have. And that is storytelling is co-creative. So as I am telling you my story, you are creating your own version of it in your mind. But it has that co-creative process has the ability then to help us blur the lines between my story and your story. Suddenly it becomes a shared experience. You're sitting in the van there with me. Now in sales, that's a big deal. In marketing, that's a big deal. Anytime you're trying to build a bridge between people, that's a big deal to have them sitting right there with you.
You mentioned businesses. How should businesses think about this when it comes to delivering that experience? Because that's really what it is. You know, Walt Disney wanted to deliver experience, and he's telling stories. You know, how do we build that into our business?
Right. It's such a great question, and so many people are asking it, and so few actually nail the answer. So let me tell you what it is to remember that. And you mentioned sales. In sales, for example, we do not say yes to the features and benefits. We don't say yes to the thing. We aren't sold on the thing or the logic. Now, in the absence of the story, we might revert to the logic because we have nothing else to work with. But in a perfect scenario, we say yes to the story of what that thing will mean in our lives, what is possible with this product, or what is possible with this service or this person or this company. And then with the features and benefits, we justify that decision. But we make those decisions first on the stories that we're told, assuming that we're told one. Number one of the big mistakes that happen when it comes to storytelling in business is because of its buzzword status, everything has kind of become or qualifies as a story. What I would recommend is, instead of all of the, oh, I can help you do this, and think about one moment. People try to go big with stories, and then they just get too vague, and you miss out on the opportunity to connect with people emotionally, to sit them next to you in the van as you're driving up to your cabin or wherever you're going in your imagination. So zoom in, start small, choose. You mentioned real estate, of course. Choose one client who you have helped find their dream home. One person, tell that story, because as you're telling it, the people listening to it will see themselves there. They're going to put themselves in it. And then, of course, as the story progresses, you will, through the telling of the story, tell the part about how you solved their problem and you found this perfect house. Like, that is intrinsic, and they will feel that as the story is told. So choose one, start small, and think about all of the different, if you're selling a product, if your product is homes, whatever it is, take each one of those features and benefits. Well, what does that feature mean in someone's life? Tell the story about that. The other thing that I would recommend is to pay really close attention to who you're telling the story to and what the message is you really want to deliver. At the end of hearing this story, what do you want that particular person to think, feel, know, or do? The clarity of your objective and the really clear understanding of who that person is will guide you in what story you should tell. That's the cross-section where those two things meet. That'll tell you what story to tell.
Great information. And a completely different way of looking at things than from a salesy perspective. Mm-hmm. And, sales have to happen, but we want people to want to buy our product or service instead of us trying to, trick them into it or whatever some of these fancy sales pitches do. I mean,
Yeah.
tell them the story of your product and how it helps people and let them fall into that story. So Kindra Hall, I mean, Chief Storytelling Officer at Steller Collective, amazing human being, you know, just a best-selling author on storytelling and business and people's personal lives. I have a question I ask everybody that comes on Start With a Win, and that is, how do you start your day with a win?
Ooh, now you warned me about this, and then of course through your dance moves, I started wondering, like, how do I start my day? I don't know how I start
Maybe
my
it's
day.
with some dance moves.
Yeah,
I don't
that's all
know.
it is. No, I will say actually how, like, in the smallest way, and this is true for storytelling too. Go small, right? Find the smallest instead of some big thing. The smallest way I start my day every day is I never hit snooze on my alarm. Now, sometimes I don't set my alarm because I've decided that I'm going to wake up when I wake up. But when I do set my alarm, I never hit snooze. That's when I'm getting up, and I've already won when I do.
I love that. Thank you so much for being on Start With a Win. Everybody, make sure you check out Kindra's book, Stories That Stick, number 2 on the Wall Street Journal bestseller list. And thanks for being on Start With a Win.
Thank you for having me. It was so fun.
Hey, and thanks so much for listening to Start With a Win. If you'd like to ask Adam a question or tell us your Start With a Win story, give us a call and leave us a message at 888-581-4430. Also, the Start With a Win book is coming out, so don't forget to pre-order that. You can get that wherever you order books in the world. But you could also just go to startwithwin.com and get it there. Don't forget to go on to iTunes. If you've been passively listening to this podcast and just press and play, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because then you'll get the episode automatically downloaded, and it'll be great. So, hey, until next time, remember, start with a win. Kindra, thanks for being on Start With a Win with Adam.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me to the after party. I feel special.
Of course.
It's always the best party.
I have a question as far as how can someone start exercising their storytelling muscles?
I love that question. So I think the easiest thing to do, well, get stories that stick so you can, like, see how it's done. I mean, it really is, like, it's gonna help you there. But then how you start going to the storytelling gym is not, I think I'm going to work out today. It's make a plan. And it doesn't even have to be a big plan. It can be, I recommend to people all the time, choose one upcoming, in the near future, communication event. It could be an email that you have to send. It could be a presentation that you have to give. It could be that you are speaking up at a meeting or you're hosting a meeting. It could be a phone call you have to make. Whatever it is, one upcoming in the near future, I'm talking about the next week. And think about, A, who's in there, right? Who's in the meeting? As I mentioned in our conversation, know that audience, and B, what you want people to think, feel, know, or do after you've delivered your message. Then think, okay, what story could I tell that illustrates that? And it can be really short. Just generally saying, oh, I'm going to start storytelling. You never will. Just like, oh, I'm going to start working out. You won't. Choose a date, choose a time, make a plan, tell a story. And then once you see how people respond to it, it'll inspire you, encourage you, excite you to do it again. And then you've got something going.
I like that a lot. It's fantastic. Good. Thank you so much. Awesome. Hey, guys, thanks for sticking around on YouTube and watching the video here. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and that little thumbs up icon. If this was great content, it will be showed to more people if you do that, so we appreciate that. And then the little bell icon, click that as well, because you're clicking buttons anyways, so you might as well keep clicking. And the bell icon will get you notified every single time a new episode is released. So until next time, we'll see you when we see you.